Yeah. Welcome.
Alert.
Welcome, guys. What's up to another episode of Once a Project podcast brought to you by your host, Brandon Lara, and co host,
The one and only.
Jackie. Jackie Jacks. What up, babes? How are you?
I'm good. What about you?
Doing good.
Doing good?
Yeah. Late night recording today,
A little bit, something like that?
but we got to get these episodes out.
Yes.
We can't stop.
Yes, sir.
We got caught. Well, do you feel like we got caught in the almost like losing the consistency?
No, not really.
I did for a bit. I felt like we were going to lose it, you know?
Yeah.
So to kind of explain what's going on, we go based off a schedule of when we're going to be recording the episodes. So we have them in advance. So that way, you know, we don't have to worry about them during the week and recording during the week. But this weekend, a lot of things happened that we were just not able to get to the episodes and to record them. So right now we're recording on a day that we weren't supposed to. And anyways, I felt like we were going to jump off the consistency just because, I don't know, I guess I'm just really dedicated to being consistent with the podcast. But I hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone had a great day today. It's Monday 30th, January 30th. So whenever
Monday 30th.
whenever you're listening to this, we're hoping that you're having a great day. And we just want to say thank you for everyone that's been listening to the podcast on a weekly basis. It's amazing to see how many people actually like listen to it and like the numbers. So that's been pretty cool, guys, and we just appreciate you guys so much for that. So thank you.
For sure.
But babes, what's been going through your day? How's your day been? Tell me.
My day has been extremely long.
Right. Why do you think it's been extremely long?
I don't know. It's just been cold today. I haven't been able to get like warm myself up.
Right.
My feet are freezing, and it's supposed to be even colder tomorrow.
I just don't understand what's with this cold ass weather. Since when and why?
Yeah, so it's making me just want to lay in bed.
Yeah.
Not even go to work, nothing.
And then also like I felt like this weather hit out of nowhere.
It did.
I was, you know.
Yeah. Well, since, what was it, was it Saturday? It was super cold at night.
Yeah,
like, remember
was.
how it started snowing really bad at, like, what was it, 6?
Yeah. My, what's it called? My truck barely even started today. It was having a really hard time. By the way, can you see if this mic is turned off? It is. It's, where it says number 3, it's red.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, guys, so it's been really cold, but just a little bit of exciting news. This episode is being recorded.
With?
A camera.
A camera.
We got a camera.
Ah.
And with this episode's going to be on YouTube, which is really exciting. Not only that, but we are just one missing part away from having guests on the podcast. And so I know the part comes in between the 4th and the 6th of this upcoming month, so next week. And as soon as we have that last part coming in, we will be having our first guest and then start having podcasts with guests, hopefully.
Cool.
At least once a week or whatnot. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't really want to change the format of this podcast. I just think that we have such a good little thing going on right now with just me and you that I want to keep this format, but also have guests come in, you know?
Oh, yeah, every now and then just spice it up a bit.
Yeah. So like if we have, how many episodes are we putting out a month? What is it, 10? It's 3 a week.
It's 9.
So 9 a week. At least 2 of those episodes be with guests, or 3, you know, and the rest be us. Just because, guys, as far as guests go, like I want to have guests coming in, but I just have to see how difficult it is to have guests come in, especially with working out times that work for both of us. And anyways, I'm excited for that part though.
It'll be cool.
I know. I can't wait. It'll be super cool. But back to being cold. Yeah, it was really cold this morning. And
It's been cold. Even in here.
yeah, our apartment is like, we got an email today saying, "Hey, don't turn up your
heater more than your
70
thermostat.
Yeah, thermostat. You got it.
More than 70.
Right.
And we've been having it up to 72 at least because it's been really cold.
Yeah. So basically, what the lady said is to keep it at 70 because the condensers are overworking.
Yeah, well, it doesn't fucking feel like it.
But it doesn't. It's not heating up. So
It's not. It's like your
I
truck
don't know.
today.
Yeah, my truck today did not want to heat up too.
It didn't.
And it was weird because I got the oil changed yesterday, so
It's just too cold.
yeah, and it's crazy because
And it is an older truck, so
yeah,
you know.
and then at work I spilled water at work, guys, and literally not even at least 5 minutes passed by, the water was complete ice, which is insane. Like,
Man.
you ever see those videos where people throw water up in the sky and it's like cold, like it turns into ice in the air?
That's
I've
crazy,
always wanted
though.
to done that. Yeah, it's pretty
should've.
cool.
Tomorrow.
But, tomorrow, should I? I'll do it tomorrow.
Watch it freaking fall on you.
Oh, that hurt. That hurt a lot, actually. But do you wanna? I was telling you a story earlier about Akash.
Akash.
Akash, a guy named Akash from a book that I was reading.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah.
So, I guess
He literally memorized this whole little story.
I think I want to talk about consistency in this episode, and kind of what it is, and then what you've seen in your life, like what it takes for you to get consistent in things in your own life, and then I'll talk about what it takes for me to get consistent, and kind of certain moments in your life that you've been like, I know this is where I was consistent because this is where I was doing my best. So I think we should talk about that a little bit. Give our listeners a little bit of I don't know. What would you say? Like a little view of what consistency is for us, maybe.
Sneak peek.
Yeah, but so I was listening to this story about this guy named Akash, and I don't know if that's the actual name or not, but
Is that how they were pronouncing his name?
no, that's just how I pronounce it because it was like the easiest.
Then how were they pronouncing it?
I don't know. I have to find it, but it's from a book that I was listening, and the story goes like this guy's trying to get wealthy, and anyways, this old person who is wealthy comes and tells this guy, "Do this, do that, and if you do this and do that, then you can do this, right? Like step A, B, and C." And so when Akash got wealthy and rich, his friends who grew up with him asked him like, "Hey, how did you get wealthy when we had the same type of living and youth and teachings, from when we were young? Why is it that you got wealthy and we didn't?" So then he tells a story of how he did step A, B, and C, right?
Yeah.
Consistently. So it just made me think that I guess I never knew or don't know the power of being consistent. Like lately I've been reading books or listening to books about manifesting things and how you think. So if you have, negative thoughts all day about things, especially your own projects, like if you don't believe in them, then you're going to, obviously not go somewhere with it. But if you do, then things will come your way. But also, not only that, but being consistent in what you're doing is what creates kind of that wheel greasy. It gets that wheel greasy to where it goes on its own. So what do you think about all that stuff, about like consistency and manifestation playing together? I put you on the spot, huh?
Yes.
My bad.
I mean, yeah, I feel like Well, yeah, you can't be putting yourself down and being negative about, let's say, this podcast.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm not going to get any listeners today, blah, blah. Because
Right.
that, you, how do you say it?
You kill your own belief, or what do you mean?
Yeah, but I was looking for another
Mm-hmm.
saying. But yeah, I believe in that.
Yeah, because it's crazy because I think about it and I'm like, okay, why haven't these other projects that I've done in the past work for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially because I see other people get success out of it and
Yeah.
like it works for them. So I guess I never really thought about it until now, or never really understood it until now that I have my own. It's actually my own project, which is the podcast, and
And it's also something that you've been wanting to do, something that
right.
you actually enjoy doing. So I think that's where it changes a lot for you as well.
Yeah. And also another thing is that I envision myself, you know, going somewhere with this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, going somewhere with it. It's not just like I'm going to try it out and that's it. Where in these other projects, it was more so like that. Where I did see that there was always something missing, and I guess with this podcast, there's nothing missing as far as consistency goes. As speaking what the future, the future I want, like manifestation goes.
Yeah.
Excuse me, and the vision that I see in this project.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the biggest one is consistency, though, because you'll get a glimpse of your vision, right, of what you want to do in life or where you want to go with a certain project,
Yeah.
right? But if you don't have the consistency behind it, then you won't be able to get the manifestation going because the manifestation will play off the consistency, I feel like.
Correct.
So when and like these books I've been listening to lately, they've been almost like life changing too, because I don't just see it within the podcast, but I see it within other areas too, like the gym and like my
Just
relationship with
anything,
you.
really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For example, like I was writing yesterday, and I know that I want to reach a level in my physical fitness, like super great level, peak performance. But I was writing yesterday, and as I was writing, I was like, I don't want it bad enough, you know, because if I wanted it bad enough, then I would be working out every day consistently,
Yeah.
and I'm not, right? Or I would keep a strict diet consistently, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, and I think that's just because I don't want it bad enough, which is okay, you know,
Yeah, it'll come
and it'll come with
with
time.
time, yeah. I
Um,
mean, it doesn't have to. You can't force something. Like,
yeah,
even though you know you want it, sometimes it's just not the right moment.
yeah. What is consistency? Look at what consistency is, and what's the definition for that, so we can
Mm.
kind of give it to our listeners here. But yeah, guys, I was just thinking a lot about that stuff because, you know, last week, yeah, I felt like I could have done more as far as how the podcasts go. Like for example, recording and getting the video recording down and starting it to upload on YouTube, but I didn't. Right. So this week when I'm listening through these, books and whatnot at work, I'm seeing more of the things I need to do to grow the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And not only the podcast, but myself. And I'm using the podcast just because it's like easy, I guess. You
Yeah.
know, it's not as complex because if I talk about my emotions, then it's complex because there's more to that. Or if I
Yeah.
talk about my
There's
relationship,
more than one emotion.
exactly. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So it says conformity in the application of something typically that which is necessary for the sake of logic, accuracy, or fairness.
that's consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, say that one more time.
Hold on.
Consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see, guys.
Unless that's the wrong word, but I'm pretty sure that's the right one.
Consistency.
What did you get?
Um,
Did you get that?
Yeah. But let's see. There's more
Yeah,
definitions.
there's more than one definition for
I don't know. I guess.
maybe type
Okay.
consistent.
So here, I'll just use this one. It says, someone who is consistent always behaves in the same way, has the same attitudes towards people or things, or achieves the same level of success in something. So yeah, I mean, when I first started this podcast, guys, I had I was figuring out how many episodes I wanted to upload, whether it was 2 a week, once a week, 3 times a week, or 4 times a week. But I went off a. It's kind of funny, huh?
Yep. We haven't used it. Guys, he wanted to put up his whiteboard so bad. He was like, "Come on, babe, like where should I put it?" And I finally told him, I was like, "Okay, put it in this corner.
Yep.
And we're gonna have to use it, and you're gonna let me write on it." And right now we just turned and looked at it, and
Well, see, how about
there's
this?
nothing. It's blank.
How about this? We'll erase it, and then
Well,
we will put the next month on there and start writing things out,
yeah.
especially when we record episodes,
Mm-hmm.
the days, and then when to upload them.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was figuring this stuff out about the days, and I don't know, something just told me to do 3 days a week, because I was looking at different examples of different podcasts I listen to. But I knew going into that it was going to take some time and work to get the rhythm down of recording 3 episodes and posting about them, right? And not getting burnt out by that, because I did have several people tell me, hey, like maybe 3 episodes will burn you out.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I just can't put myself out to that excuse of burning myself out,
And you hadn't even started, so how were you gonna just do that to
Exactly.
yourself?
But now what's cool, guys, is that because I've been doing 3 episodes a week, because I've been doing, these things, it's been actually working as far as like the growth of the podcast.
Yeah.
This thing is blinking. Is it like stop recording?
No, it says it's recording.
Oh, okay. Well, if it says it's recording on the top left or something like that, then I guess it's good. But it's blinking. But
It's probably just the battery because it still has it on red.
the battery's on red. Mm-hmm. But do you see like a little cable plugged in next to it? Okay, we'll just keep it like that then. Yeah, I guess we were figuring out this camera thing. It died out of nowhere. I need to get a dummy battery. Do you know what a dummy battery is? It's like a secondary battery, a dummy battery.
Oh.
Yeah. I need to get one of those though. I don't know how, but I need to go to the camera place and get another one because, this battery ran out really quick and we didn't record that much.
Who knows?
But I don't know. But yeah, so I think that's consistency. What's talking about consistency? What's I can't say it. I'm trying to look for the word. What's like a place or a time? There we go. A time in your life where you felt that you were really consistent with something that you saw actually grow.
When we were training.
Yeah. Dang, that's a good one. Yeah.
I think that's been my only one where I've been just really consistent.
When we were with Vinny, is that what you're talking about? Shout out to you, Vinny, bro. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah. I felt good.
Yeah.
We were eating good. We felt good about it.
Right.
We were going to the gym literally every day.
Yeah.
We just had like one day off.
We had Mondays. Mm-hmm. What do you think? What do you think it was that got you to get really consistent? What was that pushing factor? Was it like the fact of knowing that Vinny was there, or what was it for you?
Maybe it was part that he was there, so he kind of just pushed me. Like I just knew that Vinny was gonna be there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's waiting for us. Like we need to get up. We need to work out. But I think we were just doing so good. It was just making me feel a lot better about myself.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that I saw like humongous growth or anything like that, because for me it was really hard.
Yeah.
But I just felt really good.
Internally, like
Internally, yes.
your emotions, you had clear, clear
Yeah.
head.
Like I would go to the gym in the mornings,
Yeah.
and my whole day was just
Good.
so good.
Easy peasy, just cruising throughout the whole day.
Yeah.
Because
Like I would go train sometimes with Vinny, and then
Yeah.
I'd tell you like, oh, I just want to go and work out more.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that's, I think that's a lot of it is you start to really see a change in yourself, whether it's physically or internally, and it almost motivates you to keep going because you almost question, what if I keep going? What if this keeps getting better,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like I felt so
alive.
my brain felt so healthy.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
You know what? Yeah, that makes a lot of
Like right
sense.
now that I've been missing the gym a lot, that I haven't been able to go, my brain just feels foggy.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I can't function
and
like I used to.
And I think too that what helps a lot is if like the other person you're going with, the other person who's committed to also going, shows up every day.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, it's been hard because I was so used to going with you every day.
Yeah.
That since you haven't been able to go lately, for me, it's been hard to go myself. To wake up by myself early in the morning and go, or to go in the afternoons.
And I've noticed that, and I feel really shitty. I feel like in a way I'm pushing you back.
Yeah.
But I know it's not my fault, because if you wanted to go so bad, then you would.
Yeah, you'd wake up. I mean, I would wake up.
But I still feel bad.
Yeah.
And I still want to go, but I just can't right now.
Yeah.
And it's a shitty feeling, honestly, because
And you know what? I've had that feeling before too, because when I had my business, I was like, like there would be weeks where I'd be really consistent with these habits that I was forming. And I was like, hell yeah, like I'm doing this right. And then for something happened,
something so small can just get you
Boom.
off track real quick.
And when I would go off track, I would feel shitty about me not going out there and building, because I knew that I wasn't moving forward. But, and I also knew that people were counting on me to go build my business.
Yeah.
And I felt more
like
shitty.
You were letting them down.
Exactly.
And at the same time letting yourself down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, but it comes down to how bad enough do you want it? Because if I wanted to build that business bad enough, as I told myself as many times as I did, or as I professed as many times as I did, then I believe I would have gotten the job done. I would have gotten out there and built, but I didn't, because maybe it wasn't what I was wanting, And so, and that goes with anything else too, because, man, I wish someone would have told me earlier on in life to, like, hey dude, save 10% of what you earn.
Oh yeah.
And get in a habit of doing that consistency of every paycheck.
Yeah.
Save 10%, If you have 10 eggs, leave 1 egg, use 9. How many eggs are going to have by the end of the month? You're going to have
4.
Yeah. Well, 4.
3, 4.
2.
2.
Yeah.
Wait, how many
Eggs?
Oh, wait, you said once a month?
Yeah.
Wait.
Twice a month.
Oh, okay. I heard it wrong.
But I mean, if you save 1 egg, let's say you save 1 egg.
I thought you said 1 egg each week of the month.
Oh, no.
That's why.
No, imagine. Okay, so you have 10 eggs. You save 1 egg a month. How many eggs are going to have by the end of the year? More than what you made in 1 month, right? Mm-hmm. So I wish someone would have taught me that earlier on in life, when I started working at my 12, 15 years of age, of like, hey dude, get in the habit of being consistent, of saving 10% of your earnings. Something that I didn't get until today, honestly, of the recording, January 30th, 2023.
Damn.
and I would hear people tell me all the time, get disciplined of living below your expenses.
Mm-hmm.
I never understood it. Never. Until today.
Damn.
That I was listening to that story about Akash.
Well, life changing.
And yeah. And I think about it and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with, living above my lifestyle, like living more than what I earn, Sometimes I feel like I spent too much money on certain things that I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Not that I shouldn't, but that are not to spend
Necessary.
at the time. Yeah, exactly. Careful.
It's not a need. It's a.
You're pulling the headphones. Soli's pulling the headphone thing. Oh. We're about to have some technical difficulties here, guys.
I can't see.
So what's going on is the desk is on top of the cable, and that's why
Did I get it?
it's in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to. I'll just leave it like that.
Yeah. I mean, what we can do is just pull up the desk a little bit and then pull the cable out.
Nah, it's fine. It's just kind of stuck there. We don't need to lift the desk.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But yeah, I didn't get that until today that I was listening to this book.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about that because he was talking about how, I lost my train of thought. How this guy wants to get wealthy, right? Akash. And the guy who was wealthy told him, well, start by saving 1/10 of what you earn, whether it's every 2 weeks, a month, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And get in the habit of that, aka get consistent with that and disciplined. And then at the end of your year of saving, then use that money to build under you, right? To have a foundation under you. Once you build under you, then you do it again for another year, and you build more and more, and so on, right?
Yeah.
And as I was listening to this, I was like, my goodness. Why didn't I do that? And so now, what did I tell you when I got home?
You told me you wanted to start doing that.
I told you a story about Akash.
Oh, no, yeah, well, yeah.
And you got really into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I tell you? That I want to do this.
Yeah.
Of saving 1/10.
Yeah, so we're both going to do it.
Yeah. So the way we're going to do this is actually really cool because, we both have our own paychecks. So,
Mm-hmm.
Even though we put our money together, we're going to have our own little savings, which is cool because then at the end we can, I don't know, do something with it, I guess. But as I was thinking of doing that, I was like, I need to keep being consistent.
So what do you think it's going to take for you to go back to being consistent with the gym?
I was thinking about this the other day because I was thinking, I was like,
because for me, I know I can get back to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just know that right now I can't, so I'm not putting too much pressure and I'm not being so hard on myself because I know I will go back to it.
Yeah. For me, I was thinking about it and I think that having a chip on my shoulder, like for example, Vinny, having him behind, like next to me on my ear, telling me, "Wake up, Brandon. You gotta go to the gym. You gotta weigh in this Saturday." Yeah, having that pressure on, that helped me a lot to be consistent. So in a way, because I can't have Vinny there my whole life, like he's a great friend and everything, but it's not like I'm gonna go train with him every for the rest of my life. I have to find something that pushes me to that.
Yeah.
And I haven't found that.
Well, I can't be the one doing it because I know sometimes you're just like, whatever. Like,
exactly.
I didn't eat that much today, so I'll be fine tomorrow if I weigh in.
Exactly.
Because I've tried with you.
Yeah.
But you're just like,
And that's
like
where
she's just my wife. What's she gonna do? Is she gonna leave me or what?
Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm talking about, like finding out what you really want, right?
Yeah.
Because That's why when I was writing yesterday, I wrote on there like, yeah, I like the image of being in peak performance, but at this very moment, I don't want it bad enough to where I'm going to push myself to that. What I need to keep in check though, and make sure that it's good, is that I keep my weight at a good level to not let myself go, right?
Yeah.
So I can start. Maybe I can start with that, which
Oh, yeah.
I am doing.
You are, yeah. You have been.
Yeah, is keeping my weight at a
But
certain
I think you
amount.
have to be a little bit harder on yourself and put a specific, okay, I need to weigh between 140 and 145.
Right. And
Because if you put 140 to 150,
yeah. And then also, I realized the other day, not the other day, like a couple weeks ago, what really helps me a lot is having a to-do list. Because that to-do list, when I see it pop up on my phone or whatever, I'm like, oh, I got to get this done before tonight, before I go to bed. So, for example, after we're done recording this podcast, I'm going to make my to-do list for tomorrow, because something about crossing off a thing that you set yourself to do the next day
makes you feel good.
makes you feel really good. It makes you feel like you accomplished a lot. And I realize that when you keep it in your head and you don't put it on paper or on your notes or reminder, you just don't do it.
Just like, I'll do it tomorrow.
Exactly.
I'll do it the next day.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do it before this weekend.
Exactly. So, in a way, like having the discipline or the strictness of having I don't
Just
want to say a
reminder
schedule, but
right
like,
there.
yeah, exactly. Like a reminder. I think that pushes me to be consistent, to where it pushes me to actually go and do the job, So I don't know. It's pretty cool to see these things kind of like play together,
Yeah.
With consistency and how manifestation works with consistency, but also how envisioning what you want in life works with manifestation, which then works with consistency, which then works with being disciplined. Like it's like these stairs almost, or these chains that click in together.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see, because I was talking to you about that book I was listening to the other day, right? About how, like, this woman, right? She was married.
Oh, was it that she didn't believe in marriage?
Right. So quick story. So this woman was married, right? And this is an example in a book that I was listening to. She was married, and she would say, I love my husband and all, but I don't like marriage, or something like that, right?
I don't care about marriage.
That's what it was. I don't care about marriage. So she would say these things around, whether it was in her head or to her friends or whatever. She would say, I love my husband, but I don't care about marriage. Sooner or later, what starts to happen is that her husband found a woman, fell in love with the woman who actually does care about marriage. So when he leaves the woman who says, I don't care about marriage, she's asking herself and asking the husband, why are you leaving me? All of a sudden, well, hey, you almost like decrypted or manifested your divorce.
Yeah.
Because imagine imagine being the husband and like hearing your wife out of nowhere just say, or randomly a bunch of
It's like,
times.
then why did you get married in the first place?
Exactly. So what does he do? He finds someone who actually cares about what he cares about, which is marriage in general, right? And that kind of goes with, this manifestation thing of what you think comes true.
Yeah. My dad growing up, he would always say those things, like he was really into the manifesting and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, yeah, Dad. Like, I had just kind of, like, oh,
Let
yeah,
it
yeah.
like you didn't really put too
Like,
much
oh, he's
importance into it.
crazy. Like,
Yeah.
like, how's that going to work? Like, oh. But now that I grew up, and once we got married, all those things started to click.
Yeah, and what's crazy about it too, talking about our marriage, is that when we decided to get married, I'm not gonna go in depth about this, but there were so many like little playing factors that had to go right for us to get married, and some of those little factors were like last minute, that we either one of us had to do.
Yeah.
But because we wanted to get married so bad, and because we envisioned our lives being to get like married and being together, those things actually got done, which then led us to be able to get married, which is really cool.
Yes.
But I never saw it that way. I always thought it was like willpower, you know? And I never saw it as manifesting. But then Akash, in his story, he says, willpower has nothing to do with vision or consistency. Willpower is saying, hey, I'm going to go to the store today. You have the willpower to go to the store, and you go to the store. So it's not just willpower alone, I guess. You know? But I guess a lot of these things have been clicking in lately because should I talk about kind of the concern, not the concern I had about the podcast, but like a little thing that I was like, I don't know what that's about, that I showed you when we went to Pizza Hut. Remember?
Oh, I mean, if you want. I mean.
Because I think that.
Yeah.
So, okay. I'm not going to go too much into depth, but. So, last week, guys, the podcast has been doing great. And it's been doing amazing. And truth be told, and really in any type of. If you're any type of content creator, social media, YouTube, whatever your content creating you're doing, part of you is going to look at the numbers. And
even if you don't want to.
Even if you, yeah. And
even if you say you won't.
Exactly.
It's going to happen.
And even if you say you don't care, you will at some point, because numbers is what drives, sponsorships and getting paid and how much your show gets to be out there, right? You're going to say something?
I was gonna say it's like when you have a crush, and let's say you post a story, a picture of you, and you're like, oh, I'm not gonna look, like maybe he's gonna like heart it or something, but I'm not gonna look.
Yep.
But you're just looking for that person to just.
You're almost waiting on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how it is for you.
Yeah.
Like looking at the numbers.
Yeah, I try not to look too much into the numbers, because at the end of the day, they will fuck you up. They'll fuck you over because you'll start to care more about that than the actual content you're putting out or what you stand with as far as your values go. Yeah. And so for me, this podcast, it's not about the numbers. It's more so about having fun and recording this podcast. And like I said in the previous episodes, putting something positive out in the world that can hopefully help someone. But I do need to look at the numbers because I do want to know how my podcast is doing. And because I believe in it, I want to see it do well, just like anyone else who would have a project of their own. And so last week I was looking at certain things, and I saw some things go down, like a certain percentage go down. And it wasn't like a specific number per se, but it was a certain percentage that went down that I had never seen before on my display. And I was like, what is this? I don't understand what this negative percentage means. Because it was just one portion. So I asked the lady on there and I was like, what does this mean? And she told me, well, it just means that your downloads have gone down by that percentage this week compared to the week before. And I was like, oh, okay. So all last week I was like manifesting, praying almost. Well, not almost. I was actually praying because I'm getting closer to God. But I was also like manifesting at work throughout the day, just thinking about my podcast and this project and like, just thinking about it, like it's going to do well. It's going to keep growing. We're going to put more content out. It's going to be great. It's going to be good content. And when was it? Yesterday?
Yes.
So yesterday, exactly a week later, because yesterday was Sunday, and last week I checked on Sunday. So exactly a week later, yesterday, I saw that percentage be in the positives, going up in the positives. And I was like, whoa.
Whoa there.
Whoa. Yeah, I was like, that's crazy. Last Sunday, it was in the negatives. This percentage was in the negatives. But this Sunday, it was in the positives. And all week long, I was listening to this book called The Game of Life and How to Play It or something like that. And it was talking about what you think is what you will receive, essentially.
Yeah.
And what you ask for to the spirit, whether it's God or whatever you believe in, but there's a spirit greater than us that what you ask for, you will receive.
You know what's crazy? I remember before when I used to have super bad migraines. Like something would happen or I was just having like a bad day. I'd be like, I'm going to get a headache. I'm going to get a migraine. I'm going to get a migraine. And like 5 minutes later, I'd have a migraine.
Well, there's that thing about...
and my dad would yell at me. Well, he not yell at me, pero...
se molestaba. He would get...
Yeah, me regañaba. He was like, this is what you're putting in your head.
Exactly.
Whatever you say is going to happen.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my God, Dad, like, you don't understand. But now, instead of thinking that, I'm like, oh.
It's going to go away.
Yeah.
It's not even...
And I did that one time. Like, I had a super bad migraine, and I told you about it. And I just locked myself in the room. I closed the blinds. My room was literally pitch black. And I started praying, and I was like, okay, I'm okay. Like, I have nothing. I'm healthy, and it literally went away.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's what's crazy is that I didn't understand that until now, you know? And I didn't understand it when you were telling me about this migraine until now, really, that I saw this. Like, it was just crazy to see how 1 week it was, down, and then the next week it was up. But what the difference was in that week was that I was actually putting it in my head and seeing it every day almost. My podcast is going to do good. It's going to grow.
You were being positive.
I was being positive. And then what would you tell me, or what would I tell you when you came up to me and like tease me or whatnot? Like, I'd be like, I'm at peace.
Yeah.
I'm at peace.
I like to tease him a lot, and it's not to like put him down or anything, but that's just the way I am.
Yeah, that's just how she gets along with me.
But sometimes he takes it as me trying to like bring his vibe down in a way, but it's never like that.
I just, for me, with how I grew up, we take things a lot more serious, I guess, than what you grew up with in your family, which is more joking.
Yeah.
In your family, so.
Yeah.
She would come up to me and tease me about these things, and I'm not gonna lie.
Like, it was little dumb things too.
Exactly.
Huh?
Yeah, and sometimes before I would get down, but this week I was actually working on stay at peace. I'm gonna keep my mind at peace.
I would go up to him. He's like, I don't like negativity around me.
Or she would ask me, "Are you mad? Are you mad?" And I'm like, "No, I'm at peace." So, and I actually stayed really peacefully like this week. I was really in peace, and I started to meditate too,
Yeah.
finally.
Yeah, you've been wanting to for a while now.
And I checked yesterday, and the numbers were good, and I was like, whoa. And I think back then with these other projects, I didn't do that. I only envisioned, but I never manifested like, I'm going to be growing the business this big. I'm going to be doing this and that, Something missing. But but back to what you were saying about migraines and you thinking about like, oh, I'm going to get a migraine. Well, did you know that people tend, I don't know the exact scientific number, but I know there's a scientific research. There's a book called Switch on Your Brain, and it's this doctor that studies people who get sick. And there's essentially two types of people. The person number one says, I'm not sick, I'm fine, I'm going to be okay. Kind of like that story I told you about in the other podcast about the lady who had cancer who ended up living 10 more years than what the doctor told her. So there's that person, or there's a person who kind of drowns in that,
Like, it kind of even kills you.
Exactly. Who's like, I'm sick, I feel sick.
Like, they tell you, you have cancer, you have 2 months, and...
Yeah, it just breaks them.
Yeah.
But this lady who did this research talked about how people who get the flu, there's people who are like, oh, it's just the flu, whatever, I'm fine. It's just going to go away. And they keep going. And then there's people who are like, oh, I need to stay home. I have a headache. I can't walk. And they end up being more sick or end up feeling more sick because they put that in their brain than what they actually are, how actually sick they are, if that makes sense. And she talks about it in the way of like one positive comment equates to 10,000 negative comments or 1,000 negative comments, something along those lines. So imagine if you're like saying, oh, I feel sick, I feel blah, blah, blah.
And if you're surrounded with that type of person,
oh, goodness
those
gracious,
type of people,
get out.
it's
draining. What?
I think it turned off.
Uh-oh. What's our time?
46.
Okay. Well.
No, yeah, but I've worked with people like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it just drains you.
Oh, my God.
And then you, in a way, start having a bad day because they're just putting so much negative into
like the atmosphere.
Yeah. Into
your whole, your whole surroundings, really. If you're at work stuck with someone for 8 hours and all they do is complain and, this and that, it's exhausting. Mm-hmm. You leave work and you're like,
you're exhausted. Like, whoa. You just don't want to do anything.
Exactly.
At that point, you're just like, ugh.
Yeah, like.
And then you start talking like them.
Oh, yeah. Like
ugh.
Yeah.
Like it's Monday.
Well, I was working with these people. So in my crew, it's just me and like these other 3 guys. And then this crew came to help us. And this crew is known for like complaining and bitching and moaning really about anything.
Yeah.
And tattletelling on everyone, really. So they come to help us out because we were behind on the project. And I swear, guys, it's 8 a.m. I got to work 30 minutes before. No one's there besides me and this other guy, and it's going great. As soon as these people walk into the room, 8 a.m., they start, fuck this, fuck that, fuck. There was this person who couldn't get a sentence out, who couldn't get 3 words out without fuck being in one of those 3 words. And I was just like, oh, Jesus. Like, it's just a lot to handle.
Oh, yeah.
And they were there for about, what was it, maybe 4 or 5 hours just helping us out, and then they left. But those 4 or 5 hours, when I say they did not stop complaining, I kid you not, they did not stop complaining about everything.
That's so annoying.
About this wasn't done the right way. This was, and it's like, dude, it's not even your project. Like we do things differently.
Do whatever you were supposed to come and do, and you can leave.
Exactly.
Like, we don't need to hear it.
Yeah. And I talked to my coworker once they leave. I'm like, damn, dude, was that not exhausting or what? Like, all they did was just complain about everything. And that's, if you're around that, imagine being around that person for every single day of your life. I mean, that's why there's so many angry people too, because it's like you come home and you're all pissed off about your work, and you're like, and then you think about it and you're like, oh, I got to go to sleep here in a couple hours.
And then you bring work to your home.
And it affects everything.
Yeah.
So
now you're bringing all that negative stuff to your home.
Yeah. So I guess advice I would give for people who are in those type of environments, and obviously not everyone can quit their job and find some, like the perfect environment. You know, that's never going to happen. There's always going to
be someone.
Exactly. But just honestly keep to yourself, listen to your own things. Like there's times at work where I'm just like, I can feel the atmosphere being kind of low and low energy. And I just think to myself, you know what? I'm going to do my own thing and be on my own energy, you know, be on my own vibe.
Yeah.
And that works even better, honestly, sometimes, you know, just relying on yourself and focusing on what you're doing. But
like they say, don't come to work to make friends.
Yeah. You come to work to work.
Yep.
And I felt that, you know, lately I've been trying to be a better worker, just because if I'm a better worker at work, then I'm going to be a better person overall, I feel like. Because I'm going to be doing better things in other areas too in my life. In business, I was always taught that the people who were mentoring me at the time, they would always tell me, go be a good employee. Don't just become a bad employee just because you think that you have a business now or this and that. Go be a good employee because that job is feeding you, and you need to be a good employee for the person who's giving you to feed. Who's who's paying for you
That
essentially.
makes sense.
And I felt that because I'm trying to be a better employee, my day goes better. I'm not as tired when I come home. I'm just overall more positive, I guess. And of course, like I'm not.
And you've gotten everything that you wanted to get done.
Exactly. And it's not. And then also, like my coworkers see that, and they almost want to even,
Yeah.
be a good employees themselves. So, but then also like, it's not that I want to dedicate my life to my job, but it's that if I'm a good employee, I can be a good podcaster because I'll do a good job. If I'm going to do a good job at podcasting, I sure will do a good job at being a good employee too. Because that's what's paying for all of this right now.
Yes, sir.
So, kind of guys, to full circle, because I think we're at 50 minutes now. To full circle around, being consistent is not just about putting this pressure on yourself of like doing things every day, but more so of figuring out what is it that you really want to do, why you really want to do it, because I think that gives you a lot of answers and it will keep pushing you even when you don't want to. But it also takes more than just consistency. It takes the vision, the positivity of manifesting it and talking about it and thinking about it, and the discipline that comes behind consistency of actually getting up and doing it. So I've been testing that this past week and this week going into this week. And for me, I've seen the little changes, which has been really cool.
I'm very proud of you for that.
Thank you, baby. So, yeah, the camera quit on us. I don't know how long into the video, but good news is that we have a camera. Bad news is the video is going to be short. Aside from that, guys, YouTube is coming up soon. Guests will be coming up soon. And let's just keep growing this podcast. Let's keep freaking pushing each other. Let's keep being better humans and trying to be better people. Not just for, everyone around us, but for ourselves because it makes us feel good.
Yes.
And go check us out at our official Instagram pages. My personal is Brandon A. Lara. The podcast is the OAP official all together. Yours, babe?
And mine is J with 3 A's, CKIE _.
Go check us out there. There's links in all three bios of our link tree, which will direct you to the podcast audio, which is your Apple and Spotify, and we'll direct you to the podcast YouTube channel, which go subscribe. Videos are coming up soon. And we're just really thankful for you guys. Thank you for everything.
Thank you. Sending positive vibes.
Positive vibes and hearts. Thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.